Hello, sir.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Good. Does that mean we're not muted? We're not muted? Yeah, we're not muted. So it would suck if we record this whole thing just to find out we're muted the whole time.
I'd be amazed if we could get analytics on how many people actually make it through the first 30 seconds to a minute of this podcast without going, these two are clowns.
So
So
one of our daughters
you don't need to.
explain that they hung out in a class with someone they like. Okay, cut. Cut it out.
She won't like that at all.
Hello, sir. Okay, now take two.
Hey, everybody.
That was overly excited. Even the dog's looking at you like, what? What's going on?
Because that's my Hey Pepper voice.
She's kind of trapped. She's sitting behind. I've got a walking treadmill behind my desk.
She made some poor life choices.
Or we just piled stuff around her. So
No, that was my contribution to her poor life choice.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
Cool beans.
So what else is going on?
Not too much. I've got a guest. I wonder if we just jump in.
Yeah, we don't need witty banter. Witty banter's for the birds.
I know, right? Although some people like it, but I bet there's only 2 people listening because a lot of people don't like it.
Is that feedback you've gotten?
No, the feedback I've gotten is I love the back and forth between you and your husband. But then when I listen to the back and forth, I'm like, why are people listening to this at all?
Do you know why?
Why?
Well, do you know why you react like that, I should say?
Why?
It's not new to you.
Hmm.
You've been subjected to my witty banter for a couple decades now. Right?
Yeah, I
So it's not so witty for you anymore. It's like,
well, it's just our everyday back and forth. Some people, I don't know, find it hilarious.
well, it's honestly, it's like watching the monkeys at the zoo. It's like, look at them. Look at them. They're kind of like people. That's how people view you and I.
Or like, oh my gosh, I thought she was like the smart.
This can't be the same person I heard about.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, totally. That's me.
But then you start crying. You're like, well, no, that's her. That's her.
Well, and then the presentations that I do, like I just did one today. I'm exhausted and I can feel my energy just dipping. And it was a virtual one. So I can't see, like I really feed off like people and like live audiences. But I was just dipping and I just felt like this is worst. I sound like a bumbling idiot. But then at the end, oh my gosh, this was amazing. This is the best workshop ever. And I'm just like, why? Why? With you clunking in the background, I could hear everything. And my
but
door
the
was
important
wide
thing
open.
is, well, okay, so there's the problem, not me in the background.
Well, if I close it, the dogs go run amok.
I got 2 words for you. Noise suppression.
How do you do that?
So we can talk about that later during the tech talk part.
All right. Well, let us get to our special guest. It's Angela Smith. I'm very excited for our conversation today. And she has children's books. I think she's got some resources that we'll put in the show notes. But at her core, Angela Smith is a nurturer and a healer, and she brings those traits to her coaching and massage work and to the books that she writes, always on a focus on wellness and wanting to uplift and inspire others to live their best lives and to love themselves just that little bit more, adults and children. Angela has published 6 children's books, 2 motivational books for adults, both available on Amazon and from her True Potential website. And I will put those in the show notes. And I'm just really excited because I talk a lot about like anxiety and resilience. And so she talks a lot about children learning tools to access, their unique gifts and strengths and learning to love themselves. So I think it should be a good conversation.
Let's get into it.
All righty. Well, Angela, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Yeah, it's great having you. So why don't you start off by introducing yourself for everyone?
So I'm Angela. I'm a mother, a single mother. I'm from Auckland, New Zealand, and I have written 9 books, 7 of them children's, and the others are for adults. Basically, my books are all around social, emotional development and resiliency, living our best life, owning who we are at the heart, like loving everything about ourselves and embracing who we are.
Lovely. And that's right up my alley. I mean, that's everything that I do in my work is, the emotion regulation and resilience. And I imagine that there's a lot of a lot to talk about for parents and for kids. So I guess as a starting point, where do you think is the key foundation of where we would need to start just to build up some of that emotion resilience in our children?
Okay, firstly, I'm going to say that even when I became a parent, I don't think that I wasn't adequately prepared to be a parent emotionally. I presume, like my son is 22, almost 23, that the land has sort of changed a lot now with the work that you're doing. I still think that we can never emphasize enough that if we are feeling nurtured ourselves, then that nurturing gets transferred onto our children. It does take a village to raise a child. I know that might sound cliche, but I think the more help we can welcome in, and that is part of loving ourselves, the greater a job we'll do. I don't want to say a better job, because I think we all have moments in parenting when we just, want to face plant. It's like, oh my goodness. Again, though, it's to be compassionate with ourselves. Each moment is a new moment. So it's like, let go of the past moment. You can always reset. And that's where self-regulation comes into.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's so I'm always saying, especially with kids, when they're in elementary, middle school, like if you're doing good as a parent, your kids are probably doing pretty good too. It changes a little bit with teenage, but I think it's still just as important, if not more important at that time. So, but I do think it could be easier said than done, right? To just let it go and let go of that guilt that's compounding daily, right?
I think so. That's why my Stepping into Love book. So I've got a whole book on self-love, on mindset, on resiliency and boundaries. It isn't a book about goal setting or anything like that. So it's full of compassion. So it's allowing you to feel like you've got a friend by your side. You can open the book randomly at any page, and there's advice and wisdom to keep you buoyed up. And I think we need that wisdom to be buoyed up. That's whether we go to a coach, a counselor, psychologist. It's a momentary thing. It's not just something you can do for 5 minutes one day or have one appointment and then think 6 months later, oh, things are absolutely falling apart. I better do something about it. If we do something step by step, day by day, then we're going to get more used to thinking, okay, what do I need today? What thing is going to emotionally lift me? Because when I'm lifted, my children notice. Because they do. Children take their cues from us. With my first book, which I first published in 2007, and I've just redone the cover and slightly tweaked the inside, one of our organisations here in New Zealand bought 50 copies for their teenage mums at risk, because they thought the words in this book would help them parent. There's a big audience for children's books, for adults buying children's books and reading them for themselves at the moment. I think we've all been through a lot of trauma the last few years. The world is very chaotic at the moment, so anything we can do to self-soothe is important. And this is an easy way, whether you go to your library, whether you go into your child's school, and whether you help with their reading program. Reading connects us. Reading builds a lifelong relationship with your child. You're sitting there each day, if it is each day, whether it's a book that'll only take 5 minutes to read or one longer. If it becomes routine, your child then knows that that's a connecting point for the both of you. And I think the more connecting points you have, the easier your parenting becomes. Like, I was a single mum with not a lot of family around me, so we would go to the same shops, so the shopkeepers would get to know us. So it's like, find ways, go walking to the same park or the same playground. Then you'll meet people. If you go at the same time, generally you might meet the same person, and then you may feel less lonely, because sometimes on a parenting journey, you can feel incredibly alone, even if you're surrounded by a lot of people. So it's finding people, I guess, that are experiencing what you're experiencing, but also people that can elevate you. And sometimes you've just got to get completely out of your mind, watch a silly movie or comedy. It's like switch off the news. If dinner time just isn't happening, go watch a cartoon with your kids for 5 minutes. There's nothing like a really good laugh to get you connected, and then maybe get your kids to help prepare the meal with you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe have cheese on toast. The dinner, all the other veggies and everything can wait for the next day. It's like, take that pressure off of yourself, because you're not going to get it right 100% of the time.
Yeah.
But what you will get right is bringing your heart to the table.
Yeah. That's so true. Oh, there's so many pieces in there. I just want to make sure we highlight that. I mean, reading is beneficial on so many levels. I mean, just for reading development, but one of the things we're seeing empathy decrease in these younger generations, and a big part of that is screens is replacing the parent interactions that we have, but also that reading, those reading points. And I mean, that's so important. And reading is hugely important for empathy development. And then if we're reading alongside them too, that's huge. I love the take the pressure off dinner. I always feel terrible when we have like Rice Krispies for dinner, like, a bowl of cereal or peanut butter and jam sandwich. But it's funny because my girls actually love those nights. Like, can we have an anything night? And anything usually means like cereal and a chocolate bar or something, right? So
because it's a fun factor. And you see immediately, even you were saying that, your face lights up, and it's like the energy of your kids lights up. And then there's still protein in that. And in your cereal, you can put maybe fresh or frozen blueberries or something that's got the antioxidants in. So you can sort of just say, yeah, let's have a side of this, and have you tried this? It's, make pancakes, but make it maybe with wholemeal flour or buckwheat flour, and then add a few other things to it. But yeah, let your kids join in, because that is what it is. And I always say, if you're having fun and you're enjoying the together time, your body will digest anything. You can be having the healthiest meal, and you can be sitting up tight as a family, and your kids are not going to digest what they've just eaten.
that's true. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And at the end of the day, I'm always saying, like, connection, what is our goal? And there's so many shoulds in the world. We should be doing this and we should be doing that. And we should all over ourselves all the time about everything. But at the end of the day, when it comes to parenting, that connection is the most important, right? So if we're going to spend half an hour fighting while I'm trying to make dinner, when I could just hang out with you. Actually, you're good with the funny little TikTok videos, or the girls immediately, they come home and they're surrounding him. They're like talking with him, and then he'll throw in, "Hey, did you see this video?" And then, it's just those little connections, those seeds that we're planting all the time.
Absolutely. And also your children will know that their father has actually taken the time to find them. So it's not just an instant moment. He's actually been thinking about them.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, he does that a lot, even with me. You're like, "Oh, I saw this and I was thinking about you." And you can throw it in one of your presentations or
all the time.
Yeah.
Because there's a low barrier then, right? And it's not something that, to your point, we don't have to fight about it. There's no forced component to it. It's just when you see it, you see it, right? And I don't know if I ever really started out like that, but it's definitely morphed into that over time, right? And now I think we're seeing because they'll do the same back to me now, which is hilarious, right? They'll go out of their way to try and send stuff or highlight stuff that they think is funny, which is awesome.
Yeah.
That's nice. See, that's something that you've got, and they'll look back on and maybe carry through with their kids. So it's the togetherness. It's that which binds you, and that can look and be very different for many different families. And like with the my I Am Me Unique and Free book, it's got exercises. And one of my I'm also an intuitive healing massage therapist, and one of them said, "Oh my goodness, I didn't think my 6-year-old boy would relate to this book, but it's taught me more about him than I actually knew myself." And with the I Love Myself book, each page opens up conversation, and a lot of schools and libraries have used it for that. So that's, again, it's connecting points. But one of I'll read a couple of pages for you. I am calm like a bird drifting in the breeze. What things help you feel calm? And then I'll just pick a couple. I am a butterfly flying free. Special things sometimes grow in the dark and emerge some days later to fly free. Do you know how many days it takes for a butterfly to emerge from its chrysalis? Can you think of other creatures that transform in similar ways? And I know someone that takes this book each time she uplifts a child from an unsafe home, and it just transitions. So there's sort of messages that there's a depth to them. Like this one is, I am beautiful like a flower. Everyone is beautiful in their own way. What makes you beautiful? So it's not saying they're not beautiful. It's actually what makes you beautiful. So it's almost like, oh, they'll have to think, what does make me beautiful? So it's opening, rather actually opening like a flower as well, rather than negating. And there's a whole load of teaching points in that. So it does, you can think, like my child, there's another page that says, who's family to you?
Yeah.
Who's special to you? Who do you feel safe with?
It's great self-reflection questions on so many different levels. And especially when we're asking about like that support network, though that was something else that you had said earlier, like those people who lift us up and, creates a village. I mean, I talk about them as our extension cords. When we can't quite reach that power outlet to recharge our battery, who are those extension cords who help, right? Kind of fill our bucket, so to speak. And I think that's important for us to know. And I think it's really important for kids to know as well, and knowing those support systems. So I love those reflective questions on so many different things.
Thank you. The other thing I would do with my son is, if I could feel my energy or my anger rising, I would say to him, I feel like I'm going to yell in a minute. I can feel I'm not coping well. I actually need to take myself to time out so that I can calm down, and then I can come back and we can talk about this. And that is what I would do. So I didn't put him in time out. It was like I was the adult here. My emotions were getting triggered. So that was on me. So I showed him that was what helped me to regulate. And if things had gone pear-shaped in any of his behavior, most of the time I would never address it unless it was a safety issue in that moment. I would always wait until later on, because there would always be an opportunity, something similar would come up, and I'd say, remember, blah, blah, blah. And then we talk about it in a much calmer way.
Exactly. Sorry, our dog is here making awful sounds. So if you hear that in the background.
No, I can't.
Okay, good. Yeah, I mean, that's just it. I think as parents, we think that we need to be upbeat and never stressed and never angry. No, I want you to be angry in front of your kids, but being able to verbally express that, right? And say, oh, I feel Yelly McYellerson come creeping in. I always externalize, because we all have like our little Hulk brain, right? So my Hulk is starting to come out. I need to go and manage this.
Oh, I love that.
Modeling, right? Yeah, it's modeling those things for our kids. I think that's so important.
Otherwise, we're pushing them down, and you as a psychologist would know that lid's going to blow.
Yeah. And I mean, we can put on a brave face, but our nervous systems are still talking. They're still picking up the stress and the irritability. And even if you're just smiling through it, like it's just not helpful. And they're never going to learn how you cope. They'll just assume that something's wrong with them because everybody else around them is never angry and never frustrated, So I think that's important.
Yeah, they have their little antennas up anyway. I think they can see through. And a lot of these kids that are on the spectrum and different things, they're just hypersensitive, and they just know.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, these are all really great things. And I did hear some of those messages of the self-love too, like what is beautiful about you and those types of things. Any other tips that you would have around either parents or children, just around some of that self-love, self-compassion?
I'll read a little bit from the Your Stepping into Love workbook. I always open my books randomly, and so I always say that the message that needs to come out. And this chapter is called Your Inner Heart Visualization. You are the most consistent person in your life. and it is up to you to stay connected to your heart and the dreams that await you there. Nourishing your own needs and filling your cup is a vital component of living your best life. A new chapter of your life awaits you. This is your time to seize the moment and start afresh. And then I go into a visualization. And there's places to journal free flow. There's here's another chapter. Be the reason. Have you considered the thought that you could be the reason that you light up another's world and that they smile today? Write down the ways that you bring joy and impact others, and acknowledge yourself for this.
That's lovely.
Because we do impact other people and we make a difference in their lives. I think sometimes when we're so immersed in our own, I'm going to say grief or overwhelm, we forget that we actually impact others' lives and we actually mean something to them.
Mm-hmm.
That we are the reason that they smile. We're the reason that they're thinking, hey, today's going to be a great day. I'm going to get to hang out with my friend. You could be the only person that they actually get to talk to as well. So we do all have something to offer. It doesn't have to be monetary. As I say, a smile can light up and make a difference to someone's day. So it's, yeah.
That reminds me of, is it the Midnight Library?
I don't know.
Oh, I just finished reading a book. I'm pretty sure it's called The Midnight Library. And it's just that, like, it's a woman who is contemplating suicide. She's just been let go of her job. She feels like she's not important to everybody or to anybody at all, right? Like she's alienated from her family, like she's all living all alone. There's nobody there, right? And then the only thing that's important was her cat, and her cat dies. And so it's kind of like, what's the Christmas movie?
Oh, Jimmy Stewart, It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life. Kind of like that, right? Like I'm just not, but then she has the opportunity to see these different parallel sorts of lives. I mean, Jimmy Stewart gets to see what life is like without him there. And it's a different town. It's everybody's lives are very different. And she gets to see that as well in these different parallel lives. It kind of reminds me of that. I mean, we don't have the luxury to go, oh, what would happen in this life or this life? But we really do. Like there is a ripple effect. Even just the one person that you held the door open for and smiled to today could have a huge effect on their path now, right? For the next day or year.
Absolutely. That actually was why I put that in, because I was having moments like that I didn't want to be here. I didn't have family around. I was feeling very isolated. And I went down to the local supermarket or grocery store, as you may call it. And this person gave me the biggest smile, and it made a difference. And so from then on, I make a point always to smile at people. And, you know, it does lift a frown, you know, it turns a frown upside down into a smile. And it made a difference for me. And as you've just mentioned about that woman, so that means that there's more of us that go through those stages, probably than aren't, and actually to normalize that in a way that just lets people know you're not alone. But also, how about this? Have you tried this? Can you seek out help from this person? Like for me, one of the biggest factors that pulled me out of a lot of things is that I actually started doing volunteer work.
Yeah.
You know, me and my son, we'd visit this lady, try and get there every week. She only had two great nieces and she had dementia. And so it was through a recognized charity, and we'd go and visit her each week. And she never knew our names, but her smile of recognition, she knew who we were. And I was with her the day that she died. That was the connection that we built up, and it took me out of my loneliness. It was such a mutual uplifting thing. I couldn't recommend, if you can find a place to volunteer, that you will be uplifted. Again, we all do have something to offer.
Yeah, that contribution piece is so huge. Our brain can't tell the difference between someone doing something nice for us and us doing something nice for them. It's that reciprocity. Yeah, we feel it, and that gratitude in our brain. And that's like one of the greatest pro-social emotions we can develop. So
interesting, because I've got that in my I Love Myself book. There's a page about I love myself, I feel happy to lend a helping hand. And there's I love myself, I feel happy, it's something like to receive to ask for a helping hand.
Right.
And I talk about that in the adult book as well, that is part of self-love. And if you were to put yourself in another person's shoes and they were thinking, knowing that you hadn't known that you needed help and that you didn't ask them, how would they feel? It's like two sides of the coin, the yin or the yin to the yang. It's as important to give as it is to receive. Is to receive is to allow another person to give.
Yeah. Amazing. So many things, so many good things in those books. We'll definitely put them in the show notes for people to check out. Do you have any questions?
No, I'm just kind of taking it all in. It's a good framing of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything that we haven't touched on that you think is important for everyone to know?
With my Priscilla Takes Flight book, that's a book about a cow and her friends. It's a book about her living her dream. There's little bits in that book where there's a pukeko, a New Zealand bird, who covers her in dust. And she said, that's okay. Accidents happen. I'm used to dirt. And the message in that is sometimes accidents do happen. So before we yell or scream at our kids, let's just have some compassion. So, and actually, and even for ourselves, and think, oh, okay, actually, that was an accident. I didn't actually intend to do that. Let's cut myself some slack and my children as well. So it's just a compassion piece. It's just come back to you, come back to your heart. Just take a breath and know that you've got this.
And that connection and like knowing that our kids' well-being and feelings matter more than the broken jug that has fallen off. I think I'm bad for that. Frustration and I recognize that it's an accident. Like if they have knocked over the milk or something, right? Like it is an accident, but that frustration is so quick. That Hulk brain is so quick to take over. So I think that that's a good reminder too, that again, yeah, what's our goal? It's always connection and that creating that supportive, loving environment, no matter what happens, right? Because that's
absolutely
mistakes is where we learn and that's where we grow. And that's where, yeah.
Well, totally, because how we respond to our children when those things happen, that's how they'll then respond to their children.
Right.
Often, because we know that intergeneration patterns form.
Exactly. And it creates their self-identity too, right? Like knowing that mistakes are okay and that's part of growing up and that I'm still loved and still accepted and I don't have to be perfect. Like I think there's a lot of those messages that could be tied up in there as well. So
absolutely.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, there's so much. I know we could probably dissect every book and there's probably so many different messages and so much to learn. So I'll put those in the show notes for people who are listening right now and want to reach out. Where's the very best place for them to find you?
They can find me at my website, which is truepotential.co.nz or NZ, as you say in America. You're Canadian or American?
We're Canada, so
yeah, so
Oh, you're very similar. So again, so it's www.truepotential.co.nz or look me up under Angela M. Smith on Amazon. My books are all listed there.
Okay.
Awesome.
And I will put that all in the show notes as well. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
It's been wonderful. Nice meeting you both. Thank you.